Welcome to the BMC Helix Remedyforce Summer 20 Insight session. I am Nikhil Deshpande. I am a product manager for BMC Helix Remedyforce. In this session, I will walk you through the new capabilities introduced in this release. This is our legal notice letting you know that what we are showing you today is a released product. However, forward-looking statements could be made during the course of this presentation. This information is under NDA and our safe harbor statement applies. Any purchasing decisions must be based on what is generally available today. Let us start with the enhancements made to the Remedyforce console. As staff work on records in the console, they require metrics that help them to be productive. With the help of operational metrics on the service desk practices, they can provide superior customer service by prioritizing their actions. We found that agents are looking for a single place to view the operational metrics of different objects. Since agents have different roles and responsibilities, they need to have the option of configuring metrics to their needs. What they require is a set of standard metrics across different service management practices without having to customize how they are calculated. In this release, we are launching My Workday, a metrics bar displayed prominently on the Remedyforce console. After an admin enables My Workday, agents can view it in the console header. Agents can select from a variety of metric cards created for them. They can also reorder them as necessary. A new configuration page has been provided to configure My Workday. After My Workday is enabled, the admin must proceed to create metric cards. A metric card must be mapped to a console list view. Remember that console list views are created in the Remedyforce console. The default order of displaying the metric cards is also set up. Every new user inherits this order of metric cards and their list of available metric cards. Metric cards can be made inactive. Only active metric cards are displayed in My Workday. Currently, the Remedyforce console supports sorting on one column only. Besides, the column on which sorting is done is not saved. Agents typically have their preferences on the columns to sort on. This requires them to sort on their preferred column every time they view the console. The solution facilitates sorting on up to 5 columns. A single sort order is supported for each module such as incidents, change requests, etc. The agent can specify the sort order, which is saved to the database. The ability to filter on columns is not new. However, what's new is that column filters are also saved to the database. Saving sort orders and filters help in applying them automatically the next time the agent launches the console, whether from the same browser or a different one. To sort on multiple columns, press the Control key and click on the columns. On Macs, use the Command key instead. The sequence of the sort order is displayed on each column header as a number. Hovering on the number displays details of the sort order, such as the columns in it and the order, whether ascending or descending. Sorting persists even after performing actions such as searching, moving to the next or the previous page, and changing the list view. Sorting is cleared automatically if any of the columns included in the sort order are removed from the console list view. Clicking on any column header when sorting is applied also clears sorting. The sort order is stored in the database. This allows Remedyforce to automatically apply the sort order in the user's next session, whether from the same browser or a different one. Filtering on columns is not a new feature. However, in previous releases, the filters were not stored in the database. This ability has been introduced in this release. Saved filters are applied automatically the next time the user logs in to Remedyforce. Even if the user logs in from a different browser, the filters are applied automatically. In previous releases, the incident time tracking report was the only report that provided information on the breakdown of the incident lifecycle, that is, the period for which each queue owned an incident. However, the data generated by this report is not stored in the database. Moreover, it was not possible to report based on business hours. The Summer 20 solution to this problem fulfills several goals. It enables the breakdown of the entire life cycle of incidents and service requests by queues. It is typical for some records to be assigned to multiple queues until the ownership is established. For such records, it is often essential to track down how much time each queue has owned such records. During the ownership by each queue, the records are in working and waiting states. It is necessary to break down the period of ownership into these buckets. Some service desks have service level agreements by business hours. They require tracking of queue ownership by business hours. This feature also facilitates the backdated tracking of records created in the past year. The scope of queue reporting is incidents and service requests. As a record progresses in its life cycle, it is either in a working state or a waiting state. Working states imply that the record is actively being worked upon. Waiting states imply that the record is not being worked upon, possibly because of dependencies on extrinsic factors. This feature relies on the working or waiting state of each status. Certain prerequisites are necessary for queue reporting to work. Queue and user assignment must be enabled. If queue reporting is required for historical data, field history tracking must have been enabled for status and owner for the period for which data is required. To opt into queue tracking, launch the page Remedyforce Administration, create dashboards and reports, queue time tracking, and enable the field Enable queue time tracking. There is another existing configuration that must be reviewed. On the status page, review the work status of each value of status. Statuses used for working must have work status enabled. Statuses used for waiting must have work status disabled. Currently, staff do not have permission to create service outages. A common workaround is to grant them the Remedyforce administrator permission set to enable them to do so. Also, creating and managing service outages is a staff responsibility, so it is necessary to enable access to them from the console. This is what has been done in this release. The functionality remains the same as in earlier releases. Admins must enable service outages in the console through an existing configuration. They must grant profiles access to this module. When this is done, all members of the profile can access service outages in the console. Copy and paste, a common user practice on desktop applications, has been enabled. Images held in memory, such as on the Windows clipboard, can be pasted directly into fields. Images can also be drag-dropped onto fields. Images included in the body of an email converted into an incident can be saved to the incident. The fields to which the images are to be saved must be of the type text area rich. This feature also supports saving images embedded in the body of email messages. To leverage this feature, the body of email messages must be mapped to the required field on the incident object. This configuration is done in Configure Email, Incident Email Settings. Images included in the email body are saved to the mapped field. In the Remedyforce console, this feature is supported in incidents, service requests, tasks, problems, and change requests. As agents send emails from the console, they can now embed images in their emails, whether emails are sent from the activity feed or the Actions email menu option. Images pasted by clients through self-service can also be viewed. Now let us understand the new capabilities introduced in Self-Service 3.0. Before you can use copy-pasting in self-service, please ensure that a field of type text area rich has been created on the incident object and that it has been added to the necessary field sets. Copy-pasting is supported for tickets and service requests. In service requests, the field in which support for copy-paste is required must be of the type text area rich. Images can be either copy-pasted or drag-dropped onto the fields. The supported file formats are PNG, JPEG, and GIF. the existing file size limits continue to apply. In this release, we're introducing an alternative way of browsing the service catalog. When a client chooses to request a service, common requests are presented to them so that these can be found quickly. Also, a new Browse Categories button is displayed. It displays categories in a hierarchy. Every node level category has a visual mark to indicate that it can be expanded further into subcategories. Hovering over it displays its description and the next level of categories. Up to 3 levels of categories can be displayed. Clicking on a category displays service requests belonging to it. Depending on the configuration, service requests belonging to the category's child categories also are displayed. Remedyforce continues to honor existing configurations. On the Remedyforce Administration Service Requests page, the setting Displays Service Request Definitions and Incident Templates Together controls whether ticket templates are displayed separately in the Common Request section. Additionally, if this setting is enabled, ticket templates will not be displayed on the Request as Service page. On the same configuration page, there is another setting. On the Service Request tab, when users select a category in the category tree. This setting is honored to control whether service request definitions belonging to subcategories are displayed. On the Remedyforce Administration Configure Self-Service category page, the setting Display Tooltip for Category Description in Self-Service 3.0 is honored for displaying the category description while browsing categories. A new setting has been introduced. Select Category Navigation Style. The current navigation style is Tile. This will be the default value for orgs upgrading to this release. To opt into the style, select Hierarchical. Business users are often required to approve records. They do so either in self-service or by responding to the email notification. Approval requests may originate through an approval process, manual assignment through the console or self-service, and in cases wherein an approver selects the next approver manually. In this release, the approvers are granted access automatically through a batch process. Admins can opt in to automatically share record access with approvers. This is done through a batch process. It should be noted that once an approver is granted access to a record, it is not revoked even if the record is later reassigned to someone else for approval. Automatic record access applies to incidents, service requests, and tasks. Salesforce communities are branded spaces for employees, customers, and partners to connect. Employee communities can be designed to provide services to a company's employees. Salesforce launched Lightning Web Components as a new programming model for designing Lightning components. We have designed a few Lightning Web Components in this release. These components can be used to build an employee community for self-service. Lightning Web Components leverage the modern web stack that is recognized by modern browsers without requiring any layer of abstraction. This results in a significant improvement in performance over Aura components. 2 Lightning components have been designed using the Lightning Web Components programming model: Submit Ticket and View Tickets. The look and feel of these components is similar to that of Salesforce applications such as Service Cloud. The existing Submit Ticket Aura Lightning component is being deprecated. The other 2 Aura components, Service Requests and Self-Help Articles, will continue to exist. A Salesforce community can have a mix of Aura components and Lightning Web components. There are several resources on Trailhead that can help you get up to speed with Salesforce communities. Ensure that communities are enabled in your org. This link provides more information on how this can be done. When you create a new community, you must select an experience. After the community is created, it is called the theme. Themes are also called templates. Salesforce has several out-of-the-box themes from which you can choose. Salesforce adds new themes over time. Every theme is suited for specific use cases. Depending on the theme, Salesforce allows you to select components. Certain components are available in certain themes only. Choose a theme that is relevant to your use case. We have found that the themes Help Center and Customer Service are the most appropriate for building a self-service community. We recommend using one of these for your Remedyforce self-service community. The Submit Ticket component launches the ticket submission form. The component is a button that can be placed in any section of a community. Sidebar and sidebar features are appropriate sections to place this component. The component has 5 parameters. Override button label. If you wish to override the default value of the button label, enter your label here. Button border radius allows you to set the border radius up to 20 pixels. Max button width allows you to set the maximum width of the button. The value must be entered as a percentage. With button alignment, you can align the button to either the center, the left, or the right. Form width controls the width of the ticket submission form. The View Tickets component allows you to display tickets submitted by the user. The records are displayed as a feed ordered chronologically. Users can view the tickets they have submitted for themselves as well as for others by selecting from a drop-down. When a record is clicked, its details are displayed. It has 3 parameters. Number of records is the size of the batch of records fetched at a time. There is a choice of 2 layouts, full and compact. The full layout provides more navigation capabilities. We will see these formats in a moment. Form width controls the width of the ticket form that displays the record details. The full layout provides a complete navigation experience to the user. It includes a timeline of records on which records are shown by date. It also has a search field and the ability to filter records on state or status. The full layout is optimized for placement in the content section of a community. The compact layout occupies less screen real estate and is optimized for placement in the sidebar or the sidebar featured sections. It shows the same record attributes on the record card as the full layout. However, the ability to search and filter is not available. The timeline also is not shown. The width of pop-ups that display self-help articles has been increased to 60% of the available screen width. If this is not sufficient, the option to maximize the window continues to exist. The width of pop-ups that display tickets has been increased to 50% of the available screen width. The increased width will require clients to scroll less as they view and enter data on the forms, leading to a more immersive experience. Lightning Experience leverages a modern rich text editor. This allows images inserted in the body of the record to be optimized for display without requiring scrolling. As customers increasingly adopt Lightning Experience, this enhancement can be immensely useful. Several usability improvements have been made to the Remedyforce CMDB. The UI for the setup and configuration of Remedyforce Discovery has been refreshed. The new UI has a modern look and feel and improves the experience of enabling Remedyforce Discovery. The functionality remains the same as in previous releases. As users of enterprise applications have gotten used to more modern UIs, we have redesigned the CMDB Explorer UI to make it modern. All existing features of navigation and filtering on classes and relationships continue to exist. Multiple layouts have been provided to display nodes and the relationships among them. We have not restricted this effort to just modernize the UI. In doing so, we have added several usability improvements. A prominent improvement is the ability to export to a file. A common use case is to locate a few CIs that require the application of a security patch and be able to link them to a change request. We are delivering the ability to quickly select one or more records from the CMDB Explorer and create change requests. The CIs can be selected by clicking on them on the CMDB Explorer, followed by clicking on the Actions menu to link an existing change request or create a new one. This provides an entirely new experience for creating change requests and linking them to CIs. In previous releases, there was no option in Remedyforce CMDB to copy or clone records. A common use case wherein cloning is required is of creating records for several laptops or servers. This activity must be performed manually, which is tedious and requires significant manual effort. A direct implication of any manual activity is not just speed, but also errors of the accuracy of data. In this release, we have introduced the ability to clone records. Cloning a record populates data from the source record on the page. Since the field instance name must be unique, it is set to blank on the cloned record. Any other fields that must not be copied must be added to the field set clone exclusions on the object base element. Only those fields that are displayed on the page are copied. A user must possess the create permission on the class to clone records. Those users who do not have this permission will not see the clone button. There is one enhancement to the Salesforce mobile app of interest to service desk agents. Staff can now view attachments associated with records as they work on them on the Remedyforce mobile app. They can also upload attachments to new and existing records. This feature is available if files are enabled. Up to 5 files, each with a maximum size of 100 MB, can be uploaded. The attachments can be viewed and deleted if necessary. All attachments are stored as Salesforce files. Finally, let's understand the enhancements to Remedyforce administration. The user interface of request definitions has not changed in years. From customer feedback, we realized that the order of request definitions tabs can be rearranged to make it more logical. We also received feedback that there was not adequate flexibility in the fulfillment stage to reorder mapped inputs. This presented challenges to admins whenever they had to edit existing request definitions to insert new field mappings. In this release, we're introducing a brand new user interface of the request designer. In doing so, we've also improved the usability of the interface. We've offered the flexibility of reordering mapped inputs and inserting new field mappings. The new user interface applies to all orgs, new ones, as well as those upgrading from previous versions. It works on Lightning Experience as well as Salesforce Classic. The order of tabs has changed. The new order, General Information, Input, Fulfillment, Display Options, Entitlement is more logical. A few labels on the UI have been changed. In the Input tab, 2 additional columns are displayed, Conditional and Invoke Template. Based on the feedback from our customers, we found that displaying these columns would help in troubleshooting issues. A simpler interface for creating picklist values also has been provided. The Fulfillment Criteria section on the Fulfillment tab is relevant for CMDB only. Since a vast majority of request definitions do not require this functionality, it was felt appropriate to move this section to the bottom of the page. The new interface allows the admin to view field mappings by just hovering the mouse over the mapped inputs rows. A limitation of the previous user interface was that it was not possible to insert field mappings in between existing ones. This would require the admin to delete the mappings and create them all over again, which was not a good experience. The new interface has addressed this issue by allowing mapped inputs to be reordered. It also allows new field mappings to be inserted in between existing ones. Thank you for watching the BMC Helix Remedyforce Summer 20 Insights. We look forward to hearing your comments on the BMC Helix Remedyforce Summer 20 release.